Hello everyone, this is the Bald Eagle and welcome to another review done by me. Firstly, I'd like to mention that I had a lot of fun making my first If This Was Real Life video. And those reviews will be uploaded onto dailymotion.com and then brought to thatguywiththeglasses.com because that website's all about reviews and I kind of like it. Just leave it there, leave my mark, you know what I'm saying? Well, the trailer for that video, those series of videos will be uploaded onto YouTube because I've seen that YouTube has not been very lenient on copyrighted content. The videos have copyrighted content on it, but it should, coincide with fair use, for the most part. Hopefully, cross your fingers. However, these series of videos, these YouTube celebrity review videos, will be uploaded in full on all three websites for everyone to see because, I guess YouTuber copyright is not as important as regular copyright because people pay a lot of money to make those, and YouTubers just get their computer video editing software and boom, that's it. I have another channel, but I really leave that for sports related stuff. And now that I finally have this one, I can grab the reins. I have my Daily Motion account, and I have my That Guy with the Glasses account, so I can really take the reins and pull the bull by the horns. So in these videos, I'm going to give a little background from my experiences with said YouTuber, said YouTube celebrity, talk about why I like or dislike the person or their content or whatever, and then I'm going to tally up a scorecard from 1 to 10 or 10 to 1. I'll score them on entertainment value, fame, editing, and whorishness, and, get a total from that. I don't mean to be mean-spirited. I don't want to push anybody around. I just feel like since I've been a YouTuber on here for 5 or 6 years, and, I've seen people step up to some of these YouTube partners, say stuff about them, it hasn't been very broad. It's not as broad of a history. It's just glanced over kind of stuff. And this will be more in depth, I feel like. As for the YouTubers that I like, I want to review them too because I believe in all things equal. So let's get with the first review. Let's grab this thing by the reins and get started. Have you ever known someone on here who has been able to dish out things and not been able to take it? Have you ever seen them dressed up in kind of elaborate costumes, sing silly songs that would only be entertaining to 7-year-olds? Do they like to air out their dirty laundry about people in their lives on the internet? And finally, are they chronic liars? Well, if you haven't seen this YouTube celebrity floating around the interwebs, it is the famous dancing banana Onision. To my knowledge and what's written on Onision's Encyclopedia Dramatica page, Onision started on YouTube in 2006, where he did his silly sketch comedy shows. Apparently, Shane Dawson, another successful and controversial YouTube celebrity, found Onision and started to collaborate with him in order to increase the fame of Onision. From then until now, Onision has had a wide amount of success on YouTube, while also being able to maintain a few channels, including a main channel where he does the sometimes immature sketch comedy shows, Onision Speaks where he does vlogs and answers questions, a gaming channel, who doesn't have those, right? And I believe he or a fan owns the rights to an archive channel, which includes some videos either taken down or videos he doesn't want anyone to see. There. That's unfortunately all of the positive things that I'm going to talk about when it comes to Onision, because although he is a popular YouTuber, that doesn't mean he is well liked and well respected. I will now break down in this review a few different reasons why I either don't like Onision or why he is not as respected as he would like to be. The first reason is because of the way he deals with people on YouTube. Now, many people might want me to comment on his sketch comedy shows. Personally, I don't really find them that entertaining. I know that his fans like them and he likes them, so, good for them. I know for a fact that some people don't like what I put out, so it's really in the eyes of the viewer. That's what entertainment really is. I personally find his entertainment and his sketch comedies to be very juvenile, even for me. But what do I know, right? Now to get back on track to why people don't like how he handles other people. There are two types of people who watch his videos. The first are his, again, lifeless and uninspired fans who will literally attach themselves to whatever Onision says, and his, quote, haters, who are people who dislike his content and complain about it whether they are trolling or not. In Onision's mind, he is always right, and everyone else who speaks out against him are trolls who just want to leech off of his views to gain fame. No, really. He will actually use that as an argument, because he is that narrow-minded. So instead of letting freedom of speech take its toll, Onision, who claims to believe in freedom of speech based on the fact that he is a very opinionated individual, decides to silence his critics by pending approval on comments and deleting the negative ones, removing the ratings, filing false DMCA complaints, and likely not accepting negative video responses, therefore giving him the nickname the most butthurt individual on YouTube. In doing what he's doing, he is likely trying to make viewers believe that he gets no hate on his channels and videos, because if he didn't, you would probably see a lot more red marks and thumbs downs. In the end, it kind of makes him look worse and much like a dictator who is unable to face the music. The great thing about free speech is the fact that people are allowed to have an opinion as long as it's not damaging to others. However, I know how it feels to receive a negative comment, and although Onision gets more, I deal with it the same way I deal with regular comments, which is by either responding in defense or by ignoring it. I do not block any of the users, and I treat them with respect, even people who make it obvious that they are trolling. I'm pretty sure that if he allowed more people to post on his videos and didn't have some kind of superiority complex because he's a YouTube celeb, then I'm pretty sure that more people would actually like his content. However, by going out of your way to silence all of your critics and stop them from voicing their opinions, while you are able to be critical of others, is not going to give you many supporters out there. It actually just makes you look very hypocritical. I said earlier that Onision is a very opinionated individual who does not research his topics, and nothing showed this more than his many discussions on the topic of vegetarianism. If you didn't already know, Onision is a vegetarian who likes to blast people who eat meat at every turn. According to Onision, eating meat is like eating your own human flesh, which couldn't be any further from the truth, because animals that humans eat and humans are completely different species. If a human ate a human, that would be like eating human flesh, because you're actually eating human flesh. He frowns so low on people who eat meat, even though it has been a human tradition for hundreds of thousands of years. The human race has even evolved to have traits much like animals do to eat dead animals, like teeth to break down the toughness of the meat and intestines to break down the proteins even further. Heck, even other animals eat other animals. I would love to see Onision try to explain to a wild tiger why eating what his ancestors have been eating since the dawn of existence is bad for him. Because I'm pretty sure that that wild tiger would just eat Onision. Look, I have nothing against vegetarians and consuming vegetables. I do it all the time. But I just like meat more. I do, however, understand that vegetarianism is a more healthy alternative because it has less fat in it and more calcium. But that doesn't automatically mean you're going to live longer by making this life choice. However, Onision delves deeper into the controversy by saying that people who eat meat are disgusting baby eaters who will die of heart disease because they are eating meat. Which again has absolutely no backing to it, because heart disease can be caused by the consumption of many different things, especially sweets, sodium that can be found in fried vegetables, and even family background. And come on, you're a baby eater if you consume meat? No wonder that Onision lacks supporters, because he just alienated all of his viewers that eat meat. Now, I feel as though drama is something on YouTube that makes certain topics seem interesting. Sometimes people will argue about these topics and have fun with it or whatever. However, Onision drama goes into the strange. To my knowledge, Onision drama has a lot to do with the women in his life, where he has had many far in between. And while he has had a lot of luck scoring with these girls, he struggles to keep them around, and after telling them how much he loves them, he ditches them and talks crap about them when his view count is too low. Now, apparently Onision's first wife, Sky, who was his wife from the beginning of his YouTube to around the spring of 2011, where he started cheating on her with another YouTuber named Shiloh. So in the end, Sky divorced him and forced him to pay alimony, which Onision explains as her stealing from him. In the end, he just moved on with Shiloh. In the summer of 2011, Onision made a video called Shiloh Has Forgotten Me, where Onision pretty much filmed Shiloh having dementia, or memory loss. However, instead of her talking like normal, she tells him that she wants to make a rainbow. However, he never took her to the hospital, and the problem, quote-unquote, went away. First of all, I highly doubt that this is how dementia really works. While Shiloh could have had memory loss, this is really something that happens in elderly people. Not an 18-year-old girl. This was likely the beginning of Onision trying to gain views to gain sympathy, because here is my girlfriend who can't remember anything. Please feel sorry for us. However, this was likely fake, and Onision likely lost precious fans over this endeavor. This really began a period of time where it became difficult to trust Onision because nobody knew if he was telling the truth or lying for views. After a few months, miscarriages, and fake dead baby pictures, Shiloh thought she was pregnant again, and when she went to the hospital to get a blood test, she and Onision learned that she had a blood bacterial infection called sepsis, which can be deadly if not treated immediately. Instead of sending Shiloh to a hospital, Onision pitifully sat there with Shiloh on his lap crying, to tell people on the internet that she had sepsis and that she was going to be sent back to Canada. This sent people on YouTube in an uproar, and for the first time, people started to rage at Onision because they were worried about the life of this girl. You do not send someone to Canada if they have sepsis. Look, I'm not a doctor, but if sepsis is left untreated, it can be fatal. I'm sure that if the victim was not rushed to a hospital, the hospital that administered this test would probably send an ambulance to you because this is that life-threatening. And because this wasn't done, people thought that this was yet another lie planted by Onision to make people care about him. However, it backfired as people demanded an apology from Onision. Instead of an apology, we got something on the lines of, I thought Shiloh had sepsis, and she probably lied to me, so it's all her fault. However, Onision had pulled something like this before, so it was something on the lines of, fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, you're never gonna fool me again. Eventually, Onision broke up with Shiloh and crap-talked her on the internet because of her concocted lies, and him believing everything she said. Which begs the question, Onision is either dumber than nails for believing she had sepsis when she really didn't, or he just created the lie up himself and tried to cover it up, and blamed Shiloh. Eventually, Onision started dating a girl named Adrienne, who we started seeing after he broke up with Shiloh. She, like pretty much every other girl who has been with Onision, was probably enamored with him and didn't know that he was not very nice to his girlfriends. He eventually asked her to move in with him and told her that she would be able to work on his YouTube page and edit videos. However, when she wrote on Facebook that she could have been a lesbian, who cares, right? Onision dumped her because he didn't want to date a lesbian. Seriously? So he shortly dated Shiloh again and broke up with her. She eventually was able to bring forth voicemails of Onision saying some pretty incriminating things, but he just passed it off as her lying and probably sent his fans after her to troll her to death. Final brought on the bandwagon is a girl named Taylor, who would often retweet Onision, telling him she wanted to marry him. So he moved down to New Mexico to date this 17-year-old girl who was still in high school. After she graduated, he asked her to marry him, and now they are engaged. Good for them! I'm not saying that this couple won't work out, but if it doesn't, she has herself to blame for it, because She didn't listen to all those other people who said that Onision was just this scumbag because of the way that he hurt all of his other girlfriends. It's like he suffers from, like, some kind of disorder where, like, he's so attached and so in love with the girls that are with him, and then, like, when he leaves them, he just talks crap about them on the internet. And that's all I'm going to say when it comes to his YouTube history. And my personal prognosis is that he's kind of a messed up individual, which he will often tell his viewers, but sometimes that's not a good thing. Onision needs to understand that he has to get out of this outlook that he can screw with people, but if he gets screwed... Oh crap! There's hell to pay! And I wanna make poached like an elephant! If he does this, he will be considered a better person and might get out of that Scrooge persona. I've also heard many times that people who have met him say that he's a douche to them. This was shown when a YouTube partner named Outback Zach met Onision at VidCon after pairing the guy on YouTube. Instead of being chill with the then intoxicated Zach, Onision pretty much treated the guy like crap and complained on YouTube, calling himself a victim. Zach then made a video saying that he was just trying to be nice to Onision, but the guy pretty much treated him badly because he parodied Onision in a negative way. Which is funny because there are many occurrences where Onision has parodied someone negatively, and it was perfectly fine and dandy with him, so I guess it's all fun and games till it happens to Onision. Look, I'm not the bestest, nicest, or coolest person in the world, but the guy needs a character check, and I'm not being mean, I'm being honest. Go to a psychologist and ask them if there's something wrong with the guy, and they will likely say that it's one or more personal or mental problem. And now to score Onision. When it comes to entertainment value, I give Onision a 4, because let's be honest, him doing the dancing banana is not funny at all. But when you see kids walking down the street and randomly saying, I'm a banana, I'm a banana, I'm a banana, it's pretty freaking hilarious. As for fame, Onision is pretty famous, which can be a good thing or a bad thing for him. I guess he gets invited to conventions and is often the topic of conversation. 9. For editing, Onision is a pretty good editor, and is often commended for his editing abilities. 9. And finally, whorishness. Onision is one of the biggest YouTube whores out there. One reason for this is because he not only has more than one channel, he is also someone who has many places where you can find him on the net. He also makes probably multiple videos a day, so you know he gets a lot of money for his videos. A kicker here is that he will file false DMCAs because my content is too special and important to have in your video. Unless you are mirroring his video to spread a message like save YouTube. Then it's okay. However, there are bigger YouTube whores out there because he generally doesn't use fake thumbnails and his video titles match his content. 8. So overall, the grand total is averaged out to a 7.5 as a YouTube celebrity, which, to be honest, isn't that high or as high as I thought it was going to be, considering how many YouTube celebrities are out there. I just want to put it out there that I don't hate Onision, but rather I want him to improve as a person, as I haven't seen this improvement or maturity over the time he's been here on YouTube. So, thanks everyone for watching me. Check my next review out on the flip side. Peace!